My birthday, of course, my birthday and many people's birthdays overshadowed by what's his name, Brooklyn Beckham's fallout with his family. This has been very difficult for everyone I know. It's been very hard for people to kind of go on about their daily activity, their daily life, kind of knowing how unhappy they all are over there, how everyone's hot and rich and no one's happy. No one has any. They have the same problems as you do, but they're hot and rich. But you're all fat and not rich. I'm not going at you. I'm saying statistically, that's America. That's genuinely America, like on average, statistically. But Brooklyn Beckham and his wife, what's her name? I don't know any of this.
I think it's Nicoletta.
Well, Nicoletta and Brooklyn Beckham,
Or
they're
Nicola.
having, Nicola, whatever. They're having problems with David Beckham and Victoria. They're in a feud. So
just to give you a quick rundown, because I've barely been keeping up myself, but I've read a few headlines. I've skimmed through a couple of articles. So basically, Brooklyn Beckham, who's the son of world famous, one of the greatest footballers, arguably, out there, David Beckham. Apparently, he's been having a lot of issues with his parents. He deems them to be a little controlling. They seem to be at loggerheads for some strange reason. I did read an article stating that I believe Brooklyn Beckham was embarrassed by Victoria, his mother, because she was dancing inappropriately with him. I fully understand, you're a young lad. You don't want your mother to be, dancing or grinding. I don't know how she was dancing with him, but apparently he didn't like that. So they're having issues. We all deal with issues within the family, but of course, most of us, we deal with these issues offline. It's terrible for everyone involved, all the newspapers, all the tabloids are gonna latch onto this story. They're gonna gossip. That's gonna really agitate someone mentally. That's really gonna place a lot of stress on Brooklyn, on Victoria, on David. It's going to put a lot of stress on their heads because these are family issues. They shouldn't be in the headlines. They should be discussed in-house, They shouldn't be out in the wild. So yeah, let's continue.
feud. So they really, listen, you think just because they're hot and rich that it's all good? No. They have the same problems as you. Shut up about your health care. You shut up about your health care. What do you need? Listen, and by the way, don't think that this will not be a common theme. Like petty family drama, like very wealthy people, they're going to bring out petty family drama. And they're trying to invest you in that. And the message is clear. These people are just like you. You get mad, they get mad. You get in a fight with your parents, they get in a fight with their parents. So don't start complaining. Don't start asking for things. Money ain't the answer. They're upset too.
26-year-old said that his mom, Victoria, is not a fan of his relationship with Nicola and repeatedly invited women from his past into their lives in ways that were, quote, clearly...
The mom's probably right. Stop it there. The mom is probably right because I don't know anything about the other woman, but the mom is probably saying, listen, I know the DNA of these people that are going to come and they're going to try to steal your money and they're going to use you for your fame. And the mom probably is correct on that. The mother knows.
To a certain extent, that's probably true. But at the same time, it's like Brooklyn Beckham, he is an adult. He is a grown man. He may be making the wrong decision. He probably is making the wrong decision, but is his prerogative. He has ownership over his own body. He has full autonomy. He can do what he wants. That's what I truly believe. And of course, we don't know the full dynamic. Like I said, apparently Victoria has embarrassed him in the past, with all the dancing and all of that weird stuff. So, we don't know the full dynamic. We don't know the inner workings of their relationship. Brooklyn's wife, I believe she actually comes from a rich family too. So it's not like she's trying to steal money from Brooklyn. It might even be the other way.
And the mom probably is correct on that. The mother knows. And this kid probably doesn't like it because, she's got good box, whatever her name is, Nicola. And the mom's like, listen, we'll get you whores from your past we'll get you an approved whore that the family approves of. We will get a gold digging whore that the family approves of. We just don't like this one. And he's hitting back going, hey, that's not fair. I get to choose my own gold digging whore. I'm an adult. And the mother goes, listen, we got gold digging whores on speed dial. We can get a gold digging whore here in 5 minutes. The one you have chosen we do not like that particular gold digging whore. And then Brooklyn Beckham probably got upset at that. And, the mother's, she's meddling. So she calls him and she goes, hey, I'm in the supermarket. I just bumped into this gold digging whore that I love. And then he's like, stop doing this. I have found my gold digging whore. Please, Mom. But the point of this whole thing, I guess, is that kids are going no contact from their parents, right? This is something that's happening. David and Victoria Beckham, family drama, pulls in a generation unafraid to go no contact.
No contact. And I actually talked about this no contact thing in an earlier video, in my Whitney Cummings video. Because, right now, I believe Whitney Cummings is having a bit of a skirmish with Ashley Cummings, their sisters, two sisters. And, I have no beef against Whitney, contrary to what a lot of people probably think. I actually like Whitney Cummings' comedy. Whitney Cummings is a very confident speaker. I've watched a few of her specials and a few clips have entered my algorithm. And I've watched her and she's kind of funny. So I have no beef against Whitney. Whitney, please don't come for me. I'm not looking to fight. I've already had my run-ins with Luis J. Gomez. I already had my run-ins with Donnell Rollins. I don't know why all these comedians are coming for me. I'm just a little guy from London, guys. Don't come for me. You don't come for me, please. Yeah, the no contact thing is a serious issue. And of course, Whitney Cummings, from what I gather, Whitney Cummings has kind of pushed her sister aside. And the crazy thing is, money's involved, actual property's involved. Again, I don't have all the facts, but supposedly Whitney kind of cut her sister out of a house that supposedly belonged to both of them. It's a terrible thing to have to go through when your own family members kind of push you away. You do tend to see it a lot with millennials and you do tend to see it a lot with Gen Z. They can't be bothered to deal with actually communicating their issues. They'd rather just cut the person off, block their phone numbers, block them on Twitter, block them on Instagram. They'd rather do the whole blocking thing. And that ties into the whole ghosting issue that a lot of young people experience, instead of actually confronting the person you're dating or talking to, it's much easier to just ghost them, just go radio silent. What I will say is older millennials don't tend to do that. Younger millennials do. And of course, Gen Z and Gen Alpha. When you're on the receiving end of a ghosting or no contact, it probably takes a massive, massive toll on your mental health, So I can imagine Victoria and David probably feel awful.
Contact. People are basically giving up on the idea of family, which, by the way, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm saying I'm pro-family. I'm very much that. Not my family, but I'm pro other people's families. No, I am. I'm pro families I see when I'm out. I'm pro them. I'm pro your family. I like that whole idea. My family personally is, I'm not super pro them, but the institution of family, and there's people in my family that I'm for, and there's people that I'm not for. I'm not against them, but there are people that we've decided mutually that there's nothing, and nothing is worse than a fake family. You have to be a real family or nothing. People go, yeah, we grew up together. We shared a room for 10 years. You cried on my shoulder when your boyfriend dumped you. You know, we were there together when we found out mom got killed by that drunk driver. But I can't get past your support for tariffs. I can't. I won't. Don't you understand? It's a tax paid by the people, whatever it is. There are people who've just decided that their political allegiances mean more to them. They get more happiness out of it. Here's the thing. I could bemoan this. I could say, and I will, that it's a terrible development, right? Like, it's bad, and it is. But, you know, like, it's obvious that you shouldn't care about, like, I don't know, you know, Greenland or something more than your own family.
Right. I don't quite understand the whole idea of cutting someone off based on their political allegiances. To me, it's the strangest thing ever. You know, I've never really obsessed over politics like some people. I don't really get it. I've always more or less been in the center. I see both sides. We as human beings, we have many different beliefs. We have many different ideas. We have many different things that we abide by. So yeah, I don't think it's right to cut a family member or friend off based on who they support politically, whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's Kamala Harris, or Biden, or any of these people. It doesn't really matter, especially if you grow up with that person, you've been with them, you've seen their ups and downs, you went to the same school, you shared meals together, you've raised kids together. I mean, you shouldn't be cutting off family members or friends you've known for years. It's just, I mean, what kind of friendship is that? If you're going to cut someone off just because they decided that this time around they're going to vote for Donald Trump, or this time around they're going to vote for Biden or Kamala or whatever.
Greenland or something more than your own family. You know, I'm just pulling that out of thin air. But people are not getting as much enjoyment out of their family as they are out of either loving or hating Donald Trump. It's the ultimate drug that people, they will not get reconnecting with their brother and reminiscing about old times. Whatever happened to that bar? Remember you met that crazy chick in that bar? That's not going to do it anymore, because in the middle of that human moment that two human beings are having about a human event that happened a long time ago, one of them is going to look at their phone to just find Donald Trump. It doesn't matter how personal the anecdote is. It doesn't matter how deeply they are trying to connect. It doesn't matter. They could be talking about how mom fought her cancer and she called us into the room. We all held hands. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Whether they love or hate Trump, it doesn't matter. They, in the middle of that, they're going to look at their phone and they're going to find Donald Trump.
It's distractions. We're constantly distracting ourselves because our real lives are miserable. We constantly on our phones swiping, watching videos, obsessing over politics because it's a welcome distraction from the misery of our lives. I think that's the reality. We're constantly trying to distract ourselves, through either visual stimuli or music or film or video games. We're constantly trying to chase a bloody high. I think that's why so many people obsess over politics, because if they don't have a Donald Trump in their lives, what do they have? Donald Trump has taken the place of Jesus. Donald Trump has taken the place of Krishna, or all these, biblical figures, or all these, prophets or whatever. We are empty inside. We are devoid of purpose, of a proper belief system.
All right, they're going to look at their phone and they're going to find Donald Trump. I'm telling you, it won't matter what they're talking about. The time where you could imagine that happening, like they're in a tiny house in Pennsylvania. It's not tiny, it's whatever. It's totally respectable size. And it's a suburb and it's autumn and people are finally meeting each other and they're meeting their families and there's a profound human moment there. For the last decade, it has been impossible to think of the world without thinking of this man first. He comes before the world. He's first. It's not Davos, it's Trump at Davos. It's not, Iran, it's Trump, then Iran. So it's not your brother or sister, it's Trump, and then how your said brother or sister feels about Trump.
Right.
There are people who have died without reconnecting with their siblings because of Trump, because of politics. And there's a good amount of them. There's a good amount of people that on their deathbed just wanted to hear about Donald Trump. They didn't want their brother or sister to fly in and come into the room. And if they did, they fought about Trump. I know these stories. There were people on their deathbed, their oldest living relative, the person they've known the longest on earth, comes into the room. They know the lights are closing. It's over. Time is short. Words matter. Words have a weight they've never had before. And they want to discuss Donald Trump.
These Gen Z guys, they don't really give the older generation grace. And I understand. Look, you don't want to be hearing profanity or racist words. Even me, like, at one point in time, I worked in social care and I was dealing with older white guys who were racist as fuck. But the thing is, some of these guys were dealing with dementia. And so it would be a bit weird for me to suddenly try and sit down with them and try and have a conversation about the ins and outs of racism and how, like, whatever I tell them, they're not fully gonna understand. I mean, I tried at times, but because they're dealing with memory issues, it's just the next day is just the same shit. So it's like, you could try, but eventually you need to reach the point where it's like, oh man, let me just give this person some grace. It ain't that deep. It's really that deep. Is anything really that deep? The older I get, the more I realize, man, it's just, nothing's really that deep to me, Even sometimes people comment in my comments are like calling me names just because I made this one little point. It's like a 10-minute video and they will hang on to this one line. It's like, come on, it's not that deep, bro. It's a fucking YouTube video. It's like, my attitude to making videos is completely different to some people. Some people's like, oh my, but for me, it's just like,
Never had before. And they want to discuss Donald Trump. I can't believe you like this Donald Trump. At the end of their life, nothing will stop. And here's the other thing. This is the other thing that nobody's talking about and that people should talk about, because I think it is this no contact that everyone's saying is new is not new. There's now a term for it. Like she went no contact. A lot of people for a long time have not had great relationships with their families, and a lot of their families have done not nice things to them. And some people's families are dangerous. Some people's families it's a liability to be in your family, like to just exist in your family. And you'll meet these people and they go, yeah, well, my mom is a psychopath and had a bunch of boyfriends that came in and abused me, all this horrible stuff. And people can get over that. People go back to their mother and say, I know you let a bunch of your boyfriends rape me. And I'm fine with that. I've come to terms with that. But I cannot understand your support for Donald Trump. I can't. I don't mind the endless stream of people that have came into our home and raped me. I don't know how many it was. I stopped counting. And I have worked through that with therapists and ketamine therapy and trauma. And I know that they paid you to do it, and I don't love that. And so the pimping me out, and that was bad. But I've gotten over that. What I cannot get over is the fact that you support Donald Trump. I will never get over that. I will never rape me and sell me to men. Sure. Fine.
Guys, let me just leave it there. This went on much longer than I anticipated. But yeah, he's making a lot of points. Tim Dillon, bit of a contentious individual. Some people don't like him. Some people consider him to be right-wing. At one point, he was living in Texas with Joe Rogan, the Rogan sphere. He moved back, I believe. But he's a very interesting guy, and he makes a lot of interesting points, man. I don't think no contact is the smartest thing, but I understand. Just like he said, some family members are fucking crazy. You don't want to stay in contact with individuals who are going to try and kill you in your bloody sleep, or, try and throttle your bloody neck, So I understand where he's coming from. At one point in time, I did actually go no contact with a female. But then, I was scrolling through my phone, and I saw that beautiful thing. You know what I'm talking about. I saw that beautiful thing. I was like, damn, I can't give that up. Fry planted, I can't. So I called her. So yeah, her ass saved the relationship. And that's what you need to think about, because sometimes beauty can really save a relationship. It really can. So I suggest all you guys out there, you cut off that girl for being crazy. Scroll through your phone, look at those pictures, and reconsider. Just a suggestion. But guys, let me just leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this reaction. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hype, and I will see you in the next one.